Hey guys! So this week school started up again and a lot of things happened, including a bunch of play practices. Meaning I was unable to really get a bunch of footage because of the lack of light. By the time I got home from play practices, it was usually dark, so I was unable to film because, being the cheap person I am, I use sunlight as my natural light. So this video is mostly just going to be a collage of a bunch of videos I took over the week, edited together to make kind of sense. Not entirely sure how well it will work, but this is what we're going with. This week's videos included me testing out a brand new light. We're trying out a new light. Well, I'm trying out a new light. It's really bright, as you can probably tell. I look really pale right now. So that's great, but without the light, it looks like this. So I figure, might as well try it with the light. Going skiing with my cousins on Monday. This is us on the hill. Great. We should get going. People are getting annoyed at us. Thing is, have you actually ever thought about skiing? Because honestly, it is terrifying, and I'm completely understanding to all you people who are terrified of doing it. I'm still scared, and for some reason I do it. Ranting about play practices. Play practice, I guess. That's gonna be topic one. I have a kind of minor role. I have more of a part than some people who only have 2 lines, but I still am a minor character. And by so minor, I only have 2 scenes I actually have to be in, and those scenes are right at the beginning and right at the end. So it gets kind of boring just sitting there waiting for the others to do it. And the problem is it's a play, and I actually don't like plays. I like musicals. I like how the music carries the plot forward. Because in a play, you have to actually talk your way through it, and it gets really boring. And especially in Alice in Wonderland, which is the play we are doing, because the topics get off point so many times. I don't even know if there is a point to them anymore. For example, with the Humpty Dumpty one, she's talking to him about Way, and then about birthdays, and then about the wall. So these all kind of lead into each other nicely. And then suddenly she comments on his tie, or belt, or whatever it is. And it's just kind of wait, what? How does that relate to any of this topic? Ranting about school. Report cards. So the second semester just started yesterday for us, so we just got our report cards. Mine is as usual good, and I'm an honor student. I'm not going to go on about that because I'm a nerd, so there's that. We had PATs because we're in grade 9, so in Canada, they have provincial achievement tests in grade 3, grade 6, grade 9, and then in grade 12 they have the diplomas, so they don't really make grade 12ers do that. And because they were doing the semester system, I only had to take the math one and the social one, which is why I had the week off last week, because everyone else was still taking their tests and I only had to do 2. So when we first did the social exam, after about 15 minutes, you could go into the room and ask him what your mark was, because they have a sheet with the answers so they can lay it on top of yours and see the basic idea of your mark. So one of my friends, she is super perfectionist. She's obsessed with getting 100s in everything and puts way too much effort into anything, especially compared to me because I put 0 effort into most things. She went and asked, and she got a really good mark. She only got 2 off, so 96%. And then she was asking him what the highest mark you could get is. I don't know why that came up, because I wasn't actually there with them. She just came over and told me this. Anyway, so she was asking what the highest mark was, and he told her that someone in the class got a 98%, and that means they only got 1 question wrong out of 50, so that is incredibly lucky, or they're really smart. I don't know which one. So of course, she was obsessed with figuring out who that was, because it's oh, that person must be really smart. So we figured it would be, we as in my friend group figured it would be our other friend, who was also a perfectionist. The thing with him is he does better in social than in math, even though he's actually technically better at math because he overthinks himself in math. But anyway, that doesn't matter. He always gets higher or just below the first friend's grade, And so it was like, oh, it's gonna be him. Like, no one else even has a chance. Other ones went in because they also actually care about that. Meanwhile, it was just me sitting there like, I know I didn't get the 98 because I barely studied. I was not worried about it at all. I mean, it was easy, but like, yeah. So I was just sitting there waiting for them to finally stop talking about their tests and stuff. And so finally they did. And now we took the math one and everything. So then the week went on and everyone kind of forgot about it because they knew it wasn't them because they went and asked and he said it wasn't them. Meanwhile, with other friends who went and asked, they're like, okay, can you tell us who it is who got the 98? And he said, well, and by he, I mean my social teacher for anyone who's confused at the moment. He said, well, it's someone who wouldn't expect it. And so everyone's like, oh, who is that? Could it be another student in our class? Another really incredibly smart student that I'm surprised didn't get it? But it wasn't. So finally we got our report cards yesterday and I was looking through. I was like, oh, hey, look at my social mark. It's a 93 in average. Okay, and here's the mark after the PAT, 94%. Wait, is that even possible for it to go up? And so, of course, being me, I was like, oh, they probably made a mistake, but I'm not going to bring it up because I'm just going to take this 94% and run with it. And then, later, I had practice. That was boring. So I decided to actually read the comments under each one to see what each teacher had to say about me and where I could grow because I'm a good student. And I was reading it, and at the bottom of the social one, it says the exam marks. I was like, oh, it actually says exam marks. Let's check it out. You know what it said? I got the 98%. How did I get the 98%? I barely studied. I do not deserve this 98%. I should not be the one getting it. I was one of the first people done the social test. I was one of the last people to start studying. What is this? How did this happen? Why did I get the 98%? This just makes no sense at all. Honestly, I don't know how someone else has to have gotten 100 then. If I got a 98, meaning I only got one question wrong, then someone else must have gotten 100 somewhere across this province. But if not, I'm a really competitive person, so I will take that first place prize. The sad thing is, it only is a 94% now as my average, so I still probably won't get the award for the best social mark because, like, my friend who's perfect at everything has, like, a 97% in it, even with the PAT mark, so she's still gonna get that award, but oh well, I got the 98 on the big test and she didn't, so there's that. Although maybe that test is really easy because like everyone only got 2 wrong. And meanwhile with my other friend who I was telling that I didn't really study was like, oh yeah, me too. Like I wasn't super worried about it. And I was like, okay, I bet you weren't as not worried about it as me, but okay, yes, you too. That was great. Someone else agrees with me. Anyway, they also got like 2 wrong at the most. So I'm starting to think that maybe the test is really easy. Or it's just our teacher was really good and we actually learned what we were learning because in grade 7, our social teacher sucked. He was completely off topic. It's time for him to retire. He retired the next year anyway, actually. And then in grade 8, our social teacher, he was great, but he also got off topic a lot. So like the grade A curriculum is actually pretty cool. We learn about the Renaissance, we learn about Japan, we learn about World War II. It's a bunch of stuff that we've never learned before because usually in social in Alberta they just teach you about the fur trade and that it's a founding part of our country and how it works, but honestly enough is enough. It's time to move on. So anyway, this year we actually had a good teacher who stayed on topic and who taught the curriculum correctly. So that was good. Maybe that did it. And getting scared by my calendar falling off the wall. Last night while I was laying in bed, my whiteboard calendar, it sticks to the walls with these sticky things that I have in the corners. And it's over there by my door. And it completely fell off. And so I knew it was coming. For the last few days it's been crooked and like tilting forward. And so it was never actually fully stuck to the wall. But last night as I was laying in bed, it actually fell. Let me tell you, something falling in the middle of the night in the pitch dark is terrifying. I don't know why it's so terrifying. It's probably because your body's at rest and it's not expecting, so it's like a jump scare sort of, but it still is. And so basically my night went like this. Yeah, it was a weird week. Also, I'm now fully signed up for full IB, and I'm kind of freaking out because there's a lady who was like helping us with the sign up, and it was a group of people, so she was like, talking to all of them, and her speech went something along the lines of this. Now, you guys should know, this IB program is not for the faint at heart. Unless you are incredibly brilliant, you are not going to be able to do this. There will be tears and there will be dropouts. Many of you will not make the full IB program all the way to diplomas. You'll need to exhibit all of the qualities, and you will have a testing exam in the beginning for the math one to make sure you are actually able to do it. There will be tears, and only the strong will make it. Needless to say, I was a little freaked out, and now the more I keep thinking about it, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm not smart enough for this. I procrastinate way too much to be able to do this. But I'm going to do it, I can do it, and I will do it. So that was my weekend review. So, if you liked this video or found it funny or relatable, give it a big thumbs up. Also, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna point up here because I can. Yes. There are new videos every week, and yeah, I guess that's it. Bye. So, what did you think of skiing?
I liked it, but I'm terrified of heights, I realized. So I could go like mad fast down the bunny hills and I would like zoom in, and then I went on the big hill and I didn't pass out. I didn't nearly pass out, but I was scared.
Alright.